What does being a strong woman mean to you right now in this season of your life?
Being a strong woman in this season of my life means that I am allowed to make mistakes and that it doesn't have to shame me as a person, that I can learn from them and move on. Also a strong woman at this phase of my life. My strength comes from the trust that God made me to be this way.
Welcome to Real Women, Real Results, the podcast where we go beyond the reps and dive into what it really takes to live a stronger, healthier, and more confident life. I'm your host, Jamie Revelle, women's fitness expert and founder of W3Body Women's Training Gyms in Chicagoland. Each week, we'll bring you real stories, expert insights, and the tools you need to create real results. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome back to Real Women, Real Results. I'm your host, Jamie Revelle, and I have a very special guest with me today, Pastor Lauren.
Hi.
Pastor Lauren is one of the amazing women in our community, and she was a founding member, which is awesome. I remember signing you up, and you were like, I was like, do you want me to just send you the link? And you were like, I'll just walk across the street.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean? And then I found out that she literally lives across the street. Yeah, it's pretty convenient.
And work. Live and work across the street.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good deal.
Yeah. So yes, Lauren is the pastor at the, what is the name of the church?
Yorkfield Presbyterian Church, right across the street.
Right across the street, yes. And she is one of our smartest members, one of our most comedic members,
That'll
and
take.
one of our strongest members. So you will come to learn this in today's episode. So we're going to dive right into her story. I did not prep Lauren at all with what I was going to ask her. So we'll just give it a go.
Go for it.
Yeah, that's how we do it.
I'm an open book.
Perfect. So first, I'm going to kind of put this into two parts. First, it's going to be from 0 to 60, building consistency from scratch.
Oh, sure.
Yes. Just from chatting previously, before you joined us in 2023, tell us about what was your relationship with fitness like? And had you tried other programs and routines and things before that?
Yeah. I think growing up, I never thought of myself as an athletic person at all. I didn't play team sports. I did downhill skiing and ran cross country for a season in middle school, but kind of had deemed myself as can't throw a ball equals not athletic equals don't work out, which obviously is not true.
Movement and exercise, not my thing.
We lived in a different suburb before we moved to Elmhurst, and I got into a workout program there that I really liked and kind of found out oh, maybe I actually can do some things.
Yeah.
And then we moved to Elmhurst and the pandemic started and I had no fitness routine whatsoever. We would go for walks every once in a while, like everybody did in the pandemic. So previous to coming here, I had very small relationship with fitness that I told myself it wasn't for me.
Okay. So why is that?
Because I felt like I didn't look like fitness people. And sometimes, the idea of going into a giant gym without knowing what you're doing is very intimidating.
Totally. Yeah.
Those are two big hits.
Yeah. Something like that. I have this inner desire to, as I think of it, crack the code on how can we motivate people to work out? And I can't remember the stat, but let's say it's less than 70%. I'm sorry, around 70% of the population doesn't work out.
That makes sense.
That's a horrible way of phrasing that, but I think you understand what I mean. So less than 30% of the population works out. And it's really crazy. That's a lot of people that truly need to get moving for just, in my opinion, a better life and a healthier life. So what can we do as an industry to help that?
Yeah.
And I think big box gyms, the intimidation factor is huge. And so that's what we're all about. And we're on a quest too.
Well, you're already doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
I think you make it more accessible. I mean, for me, an all women's gym was kind of just even more of a comfort zone. I've worked out with, multiple genders and it wasn't a deal breaker for me, but it just is already okay, real people are going to be here.
Yeah.
Check mark.
Yeah.
So that's good.
So what was the impact of not having something consistent, would you say, physically, mentally, spiritually?
Yeah, all of the above.
in the place before you started coming?
Physically, just back pain. I
Mm.
always have had, not always, but
In
past,
recent years?
like, your 30s.
I was gonna say post 30 years.
Your 30s. Back pain. And I mean, since I've started working out here, all of that's all gone because my muscles are actually strong enough to support my back and I'm not like
In your core.
like
Yeah.
this all day.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a lot better. Like I'm in my 30s and I have to, if I like do all of our laundry, I carry it up 2 flights of stairs. I'm like, not embarrassing, but it was frustrating to me that in my 30s I carried my laundry up. I'm like, why am I winded?
Mm-hmm.
I'm 38. Like this shouldn't happen or whatever.
Yeah. And my back hurts and
Yeah, physically, I think that was one pre-workout sort of thing. Mentally, definitely when you start working out, you gain more confidence, I think, in your ability. Like, if I can tackle this, which I thought that I couldn't do, what else can I tackle?
Mm-hmm.
What else things can I do that I didn't think I'd be able to do? And so I think that's a big plus side that comes along with the workouts that's for your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Spiritually, community is the part for me, so we'll talk about that too. But sometimes I think clarity is a part of working out for me. And sometimes, especially with the team workouts, when you're kind of like going through all the motions and you're really leaving it all on the field, so to speak, sometimes you can shake the things from your mind that you haven't been able to kind of clear out. And then when all of that's clear, then you're like, oh, this is what I should do in that situation, or this is the thing that I've been looking for. And so when I'm not faced with my phone and my computer and my this and all and bless them, my children, and like all of the things, like all of the things that are demanding your attention, you focus on your workout. And then, for me, the spiritual connection there is like, okay, I'm like reset again and I can go out into the world a more kind, gracious, loving, caring person.
Yeah, I love that. And no one's ever put it like that, at least not to me, but that's so true. That's what I love about, especially like an intense workout, like team training, that it's just like go, 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 like Lauren said. And you're so focused on it when it's so hard sometimes to focus like in your office when you've got all the things going on. But this was something that was able to divert your attention. And then, like you said, you get that clarity later. I think the same thing of like when you're trying to be creative and you're sitting there like a writer's block almost.
Yeah.
And you're trying so hard to like come up with the verbiage or whatever it is. And it's like, it's not going to. And then you think of it in the shower or something, right? Like that's kind of the same concept.
I think so.
Yeah.
Very much so. Workouts and showers.
Yeah, right.
Both of which you can do here.
Right. Both of which you should do daily. The other thing you said that I have tried to explain this, I distinctly remember one night that this girl comes in. She was actually with her boyfriend and he was trying to motivate her to join. And she was so hesitant and so unsure. And one of my staff members was helping her and she's like, she has some questions I'm not sure how to answer. And I was like, okay. And so I went over and I was talking to her and I said, our goal is to empower women through strength training. And she was like, what do you mean by that? And I was like, oh, no one's ever really asked me to explain it. And so I was explaining how as you learn the movements and like you see that you're getting stronger in the gym, that really the ultimate goal is to feel more confident. And so that strength and that confidence transfers over to other aspects of your life.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, but I have so much going on. Like, what if it doesn't? And I was like, but what if it does?
Yeah.
Like paradigm shift that if you've never tried it, it is truly so empowering when you see those differences, whether it's strength, confidence, mental clarity. I mean, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
the fact that you see, like you've experienced all of those different sides is really cool. So October of 2023 hits. Actually, well, we probably met in like August or September. You popped over from across the street to sign up, taking advantage of our pre-sale offer. So putting faith in me to say, I'm going to join and I don't know what you're all about and what you're going to do, but let's go. And we opened in October 2023. What do you think? What was the moment or just thing that felt like, I'm going to give this a shot? Anything in particular?
Like going from the trial to really signing up or before the trial?
Yeah. 2-part question.
Okay.
So before the trial and then, yeah.
Yeah. So
ongoing.
Before the trial, I am lucky with the proximity to my house, right? Like it's so close.
Sure.
Why not? Kind of thing. But
Okay.
but what if it does? You know?
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I'll give it a try. And I came over, and it was really encouraging to meet with you, and you were very kind, and you laid it all out, and that was pretty sounds good. And I looked at some of your stuff from your other location, and I was like, okay, seems
legit.
seems legit.
So wait, really quick, someone was like, well, she was going to pay in full. That was part of the pre-sale offer
Oh, sure.
options.
Yeah.
And she was like, but my husband told me that what if it's a scam? And I was like, well, here I am. Like, it's not.
I am not a scam.
Yeah, right. Comedian, I told you. A Harvard graduated.
Didn't enter
comedian.
thinking I would do the robot voice, but here we are.
How could you not?
Right away, when you started sharing stuff online, and I could see the images of women that were a wide diversity of ages and shapes and sizes and like experience with, I was like, this is my place. Kind of no matter who you are, where you're coming from, we can include you and find a way to challenge you and support you. So not just like, oh, everyone's going to be challenged, but everyone's going to be supported too.
Yeah.
So that was like, yes, this is worth a try. Then switching from like, okay, I did a trial period to really,
committing.
I'm
a member.
I wanted the 𝙤𝙤𝙨 back.
What a good incentive.
Also, there was one of the I can't remember if it was my first team workout or the first like closer at the end of a personal semi-private training session. And it was some stretch of cardio. And I remember like doubled over, like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. And I remember thinking, if I can't do 3 minutes of cardio, then I really need to sign up. Just I'm sure that if I had the little 𝙤𝙤𝙪 thing on it, would have been like, sit down.
Yeah. Call an ambulance.
Stop. But I did it. I was like, okay, this is really hard, but I did it. So it was like the balance.
Yeah.
And also kind of like met a couple people who were really kind, really liked the coaches. I mean, there are a lot of different reasons that I wanted to go from the trial to really signing up. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Those are some of my ones that come to my mind first.
Any like particular memories or feelings that come up when, you went from not really doing much except maybe some walks to like coming in pretty consistently 5 to 6 times a week?
I mean, change doesn't happen overnight, right? So I started in October, and I think it was the next summer we were at the beach, and my husband was like, you have a lot of back muscles. I was like, yeah, I go to the gym 5 days a week.
That's so good. Especially,
and he's a very athletic. He's the person that I was like, no, that's athletic, right? He played on every team and did all the things. But anyway, so
he should go to the gym.
He should go to the gym. Yes. Anyway, but him being like, you have a lot of back muscles, and I was like, yeah, I do. Thanks.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Well, leading right into my next question, outside of back muscles, I don't know why that's so funny. How do you feel like that you've changed, not just physically, but energy, mindset, or how you approach your days as a pastor and leader and mom and a person?
Well, making sure that I can schedule time to come to the gym is an overall like conscientious choice of like, how am I going to budget my time? You have classes all across the board, so that makes that at least, I have lots of options, which is really great.
Yeah.
But making sure that I'm like, okay, if I'm going to do this for me, a lot of the rest of my time, especially as a pastor, caring for a congregation is spent pouring in, care for other people, which is great. And big reason why I love my job. I realized now after a couple of years at the gym how much of a gaping hole I had for caring for myself. And that what I do here, not only physically do I feel stronger, but, I get that little break mentally that we were talking about, which then enables me to better care for other people so that when at the end of the day, it's better balanced. So I have to do that like physically on the calendar, and it's a mental thing that happens.
Yeah.
So I think taking this time and care for myself has made me better at my job.
Yeah.
So, because I'm caring for myself too and my kiddos, I love that my kids know that trying to come to the gym is something that's a priority for me.
Mhm.
And not just that it's like, I'm doing it for my kids, but like I am. And like, that's part of it.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, you have to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And there are things that you got to do that, I mean, and they're 14 and 8. So they're definitely at an age where they're like seeing me do this. And my son is like, you go to the gym all the time.
Sorry, dude. Has anything surprised you about what your body or mind could do once you got really consistent?
Mm.
I imagine
Yeah.
your endurance, you're able to do
Yes.
3 minutes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I could do 3
fantastic.
minutes of cardio now. The weightlifting. I never thought I could lift this heavy of weights.
Yeah. I'm sorry. So, as I mentioned, Lauren is one of our strongest members, where sometimes before the next month's program comes out, I'm like, Lauren, can you try this just to make sure that like she's not going to be like, I need to quit because your weights, I'm too strong for this, you know?
Put some
So I'm like,
chains
try
on it.
so now we have, it's kind of like Lauren's personal tagline, like, we're just going to throw some chains
Throw
on
some
it.
chains on
Yeah.
it.
Like we've tried. Well, we did.
Yeah.
Kind
We
of,
did.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. We
So
like looped them around kettlebells
we
and
tried the cable machine. That
yeah,
didn't
that didn't work
very
out.
well.
That's
But
okay.
we put some chains on that machine.
We
Yeah.
did.
We sure did. So yes, your strength is truly
I
incredible.
think first time I did something that was like lifting that was my body weight, I was like, whoa. So that was really exciting.
That's cool.
And yeah, I think that's been really surprising.
Yeah.
And it's hugely motivating. Like I keep on my sheets from the workouts and like going back and looking at the numbers from months previous is like, holy cow,
Yeah.
how much has changed. And to me, it makes it like kind of, I respond well to games and friendly competition.
We'll talk
And
about that.
and so, I don't view it like I'm competing with the person who's next to me because we're all on our own journey, but I'm
Yes.
competing with myself,
Yeah.
right? And like, okay, I did this last time. What can I do this time? And so it's been fun.
Yeah, that is cool. Well, and that's part of my zone is like technically
Yes.
gamifying fitness.
Yes.
I'm always checking the app. Like, did I hit my goal yet? But yeah, the other thing with strength training and I lost my train of thought again.
Team training.
No. Being empowering is that when you're able to do something that you weren't previously able to do. Like that is huge.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And again, that's something that I feel like transfers outside of the gym as well. So last part of this, what would you say to someone listening who hasn't worked out in years and is scared to start, especially someone who might think I'm too far gone or I won't stick with it or fitness is only for athletes?
Come work out.
Used to think.
I would say come work out with me.
Yeah.
I'm fun.
It is pretty fun.
Maybe the same thing that I say to my family and or people at my church all the time, which is, well, let's just give it a try.
Mm.
You can give it a try once. If someone was like sitting down with me over a cup of coffee and I had more than one sentence to give them an answer, I'd probably say, well, the great thing about working with the coaches here too is that there's always adaptations. Like if you can do something really well, they'll be like, great, now try this. Or if you look at something and you're like, no, I haven't worked out in years and I'm recovering from knee replacement surgery or this or that, they're like, great, here's something else that you can do. Here's a modification. And I think that's always really helpful. And I tell people that the people here are so encouraging. I know I keep sneaking into community, but that's such a big part of it for me. So I think, the coaches will adapt to you, give it a try. And what there's a saying, like the best day to start was yesterday and the second best day is today or, whatever that is, know. So like a month from now, you could be like, hey, I've been working out for a month.
Yeah, right. Sometimes this like totally unrelated to fitness, but it's still applicable here. One of my staff members at the Berwyn location always says, why do tomorrow what you can do today?
Yeah.
And so sometimes when I'm going to be like, I'll just do that tomorrow. It's like, why would I do that? I have time. Stop procrastinating. Just get it done.
Yeah.
Like something you could put off, but like, or you could just not. It's like, well, yeah.
Another big thing for me is that the sign up format. Like if you told me I had an infinite schedule,
Mm.
but I was on my own at the gym, I'd be like, and so having a class and an instructor is a big, like, it's a commitment.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, nope, I signed up. I'm going to go. And
Yeah.
so that really helps me. And then again, for someone who hasn't been or doesn't know what they're doing, like, you don't have to.
Yeah. Right.
They'll tell you what to do. So it's
100%.
really, they'll tell you.
Yeah.
So that's good.
The structure is important. And just, we tell people, just show up. Like,
Yes.
we will take it from there. You don't need any experience.
No.
But I think what you're speaking to is the accountability piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely huge. So I want to learn a little bit more as we segue into community, as Lauren gave away multiple times.
You said first.
I know. I said it first. I want to learn more about you and your background. What made you want to be a pastor? And also, how did you end up at Harvard? I think I've asked you this before, but we'll go through it.
I grew up going to church. My dad was a church organist. So there's like a terrible joke in church world that if you're a pastor's kid, they call you a PK, but I'm an organist kid, so I'm okay.
I think you're more than okay.
So I grew up in Ohio, and I went to Miami of Ohio for undergrad, and I majored in art history and comparative religion. So I studied all the major world religions, which I thought was really important.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a couple things, including a giant 2-month mission trip to Siberia.
Oh, okay.
I spent one summer north of the Arctic Circle.
All
it's
right.
a thing. That's true.
Okay. I thought you made it up this whole time.
I did the receipts. And I thought, wow, it was a very empowering thing that I was like, if I can do this here, I could probably do some sort of ministry at home. So then I came back, and I had a couple more years of college, and I was applying to graduate schools, and with the help of some professors, they encouraged me to apply to Harvard. And I was like, that's good, because if I get there and I'm like, yeah, I really want to be a pastor, that degree. And if I get there and I was like, being a pastor was a terrible idea, then Harvard Divinity School has multiple tracks that you can follow. So I applied and I got in, and I don't know, maybe some people do, but I don't say no to Harvard. So
good choice.
There was a nice financial aid package that came with it. So moved to Boston, and that's where I met my husband. And Boston was a really fun place to live. Mm-hmm. I always throw the caveat that it was Harvard grad school, so it's not Harvard undergrad. It's
Harvard. Don't throw that caveat in there.
My degree, my diploma is all in Latin.
Oh.
The only thing you can read on it, if you don't read that, is my name. We have a joke in my family that it's fake.
Maybe we should send it in. What is your husband's also in Latin?
He can read Latin.
Oh, okay. Okay, Mr. Cochran. Yeah. I'm just kidding. I don't know your husband. How dare I make fun of him?
So that's how I got there. And when I started at Harvard, I got an internship at a church, and which was in a very different. So it was in Southie. So South Boston is not the Harvard neighborhood, which was really great to kind of get all those different experiences, and started working in this super diverse church in many, many different ways. There were people there who were PhD students at MIT, and people who had grown up their entire life and didn't know how to read. But it was just a great crucible to figure out if you really wanted to be a pastor or not. And they were so kind. And I did a month of that. I was like, oh yeah, this is what I want to do.
Oh, cool.
And sometimes now the best way that I can explain why I'm a pastor is because I literally cannot imagine myself doing anything else. So
what's your favorite part?
Working with people. And I like preaching.
Cool.
It's kind of like coming up with a TED Talk every Sunday. So there are some midweeks where I'm like, what am I going to say?
Yeah.
But it's also, I think, writing my sermons is one of my own spiritual practices.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Creative outlets.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And the staff I work with is just outstanding and they're super fun. And like if you think I'm funny, they're hilarious.
Really?
And so yeah. We
Cool.
joke that we should turn our staff meetings into a podcast.
I was just, yeah, you guys or a reality TV show. Sounds like a good one. Obviously, with your church, you're surrounded by community every day. And as your role, you lead people, you support people, and you create that connection and you set that culture, I'm sure, of your church. But what about the community that you have found here at W3Body? Because, and sure, it's a little different in the way that, that you hopefully by us feel supported instead of having to be that person, that nurturer and that leader. You can be here and take off your pastor hat and put on just like fitness Lauren hat or
athlete.
I was going to say athlete. But yeah, showing up as you and like feeling completely supported here. Like, what do you feel like that has meant to you?
Yeah. I mean, even at church, I like to reiterate that I'm a normal person. I'm not, I'm just a normal person. But here, I also, I get to be a normal person. And it's nice every once in a while. Like I said, if you don't know what to do, you come here and they'll tell you what to do. Just tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to have to 100% of the time be telling other people, like, here's the thing, we're going to do this or that. And, a lot of us do that at home too, depending on the age and stage of your family or what your family looks like. So that's really nice to be able to just kind of come here and, like follow the steps, do the thing and kind of relax in that way. And it's like, what, Cheers, right? I never watched Cheers. I'm not young, but I'm too young for Cheers. But like you go in and people know your name. Like it never ceases that I come in the door and someone says, "Hey, Lauren," whether it's somebody on the staff or somebody that I'm getting ready to work out with. And so that like feeling seen and known and cared for is very supportive. And
that's awesome.
Also a lot of people, whether I'm working out with them or the various coaches that I have, I'm like, that was my new personal record. And, that's so great. And, support it. Or like, oh, do you want to try to go up? Okay, let's make it happen. How can we do it? And so just all those little things are super, super supportive.
Yeah. And nice. And I'm over here being like, can I put that on Instagram? Can you do that again? Or I'll be like, can you do a few more reps? I can do record that.
One more for the gram.
Yeah. What I'm over here doing? Oh, you'll survive. It's fine. No, I've never said that. I'm going to take a break, Lauren.
She said it in her head.
Yeah, right. I don't vocalize it always. So, yeah. So in terms of community and all that support and things that you just mentioned, do you feel like that was missing as from your wellness journey?
Oh, definitely from the wellness journey. Because, my wellness journey was pretty non-existent.
Yeah, right. You're walking.
But I mean, something I tell my kids when it comes to making their friends is that I always think it's good to have eggs in multiple baskets, right? Like you've got your school friends and maybe you have your church friends, and then you've got your friends from Scouts or from the soccer team or from whatever. And then, we never want anything to go wrong. But if one group of friends is like on a little bit of a tiff on the outs, then you have other people that you can do other things with. And so not that I'm on the outs or at the gym or the church or whatever, but just like having multiple baskets of people who can see you in multiple facets of who you are, I think helps you feel more like a full and whole person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you get to express yourself in a way like you can't at church, I'm sure.
Yeah. I also love running into gym people out in the wild. And then we all are like, you look nice. You look nice. Because we aren't in our gym club.
Yeah.
We're like, you normally wear glasses? I do. I do normally wear glasses.
I always feel like people look at me like, you own street clothes? Like you own things that are not
You have
fitness?
jeans?
I know. Wow. Heels? What? A dress? Yes, actually I do. But yeah, I totally understand what you mean. Any favorite gym moments that made you feel like these are my people?
At the end of the first month that I was here, it was still the trial month, and we were doing the trap bar deadlift, which is like a little octagon that you step inside and then lift heavy weights in. And, I'd done multiple semi-private training sessions at that point, but Denise came over and was standing with me, and it was the heaviest I had done yet. And she stood in front of me for my entire set and was like, "You've got this, do one more. Okay, now they're going to do one more. And you've got, and your breathing's good and you're doing," and she like walked me through the entire thing. And I was like, wow, that's what it's like to have a person. I've never had like a personal trainer, anything like that.
Yeah.
And so that was really cool.
And
Other moments where I was like, these are my people. Sometimes when our coaches are telling us about a new exercise and we're like, what? And so knowing that I'm not the only person that is like, okay, this is going to be hard, but that feels good. Everybody always has a good sense of humor.
Indeed.
And a lot of the like social events that you've planned have been, not only is it fun to work out with people, but it's been fun to like get to know them and chat with folks. And, I can kind of like go around and tell you about my crew that I regularly like, oh, and her daughter is getting ready to be a junior, and she just finished her freshman year of college, and da-da-da-da-da. And so that's been, and they ask me about my family and my life. And that's, name something better.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
right. I agree. I think that it's cool that there's flexibility in the schedule, and you've had things obviously like that come up that you have to go do and you can't attend your normal 8:30-ish time slot. But the other side is when your schedule does kind of run consistently, you do get to know, like you do work out with the same ladies. So that's a really cool part that helps build that community. It's kind of like small communities within a larger one.
Absolutely.
That's why I love the event as well. And it's kind of nerdy, but last year we played at our anniversary party. You were there, right? Yeah, you were definitely there. We had a list of kind of icebreaker questions, but you would go around and find someone who, for example, find someone who's a pastor. And then
who could that be?
Right. And
because
those things.
Right. Like the early morning girlies.
Bless
Listen,
them.
I'm there. Bless them. I would come maybe if I really had to, but they are like their own set of powerhouse, but they're so fun.
Yeah.
And so it's really fun. Like, when we get a chance to all be together, it's a ton of fun. Like we're on holidays when there's like a special time sort of thing. We all get to be together and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is cool. What about did you love your competition as Pastor Lauren with her Sinners? That was the name of their group, Pastor Lauren and the Sinners.
Pastor Lauren and the Sinners. Look, we came to win.
You guys made history.
And we did win.
Yeah. Competitive, as you said. Yeah, you guys.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And my like biggest takeaway, not just the glory and honor of winning, but like we made our little group chat and we're like still texting. Like that's the sort of stuff that's fun. And we're sending each other ridiculous reels on Instagram that it's like, we should do this. And it's like somebody doing push-ups while on the sled while someone else is pushing the sled.
Yeah.
And it's all, what could go wrong?
Super safe.
But yeah, we had a lot of fun with that. And we've done some other competition-y things too. And so anything, again, that's like teamwork like that to kind of also helps. You can approach it that, like the person you're competing against is yourself, like I said earlier. And when you're doing a team sort of thing, then you can really encourage one another to be like, are you coming? You're coming on Wednesday, right? I'll see you on Wednesday. And so that's good too.
Yeah, there's accountability with it. We're doing like because we didn't get to, because we were remodeling the other location in March. So we didn't get to do the March challenge. So instead we're doing miles in May.
Nice.
And it's group based. And I feel like I'm leading one of the groups, like staff, coaches, instructors are taking different groups. And so I'm like, well, it's just such a mental thing. It's gamifying. It's kind of that same concept that's like, well, I can't skip my mile today. And I've got to figure out like, where am I going to put this in my day? Because they're doing it. I need to do it. Like, you don't want to let your team down. It's fun. It's cool.
Well, and there's like the little bonus exercises to that particular competition. And, like why I wouldn't have added in any extra bonus exercises. But I'm like, okay, no, they're doing it. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, totally. In terms of a piece of advice, why do you think someone listening should stop trying to do all this alone and find their community, even if it feels hard or intimidating at first?
Well, like we've talked a lot about, accountability, I think, is a huge thing. Even if I worked out the same time, like 1 hour for 5 days a week on my own, I can guarantee that I wouldn't be doing as much or pushing myself as hard, or find the diversity of movement and workout that I would be if I was here.
Yeah.
Even the other week when I was lifting and you're like, you're going to try for 200, right? And I was like, okay. And I did, and I could do it. And like, I wouldn't push myself that way if I was doing it on my own. So community in that way is good. And then I work out with Lynn a lot. And so sometimes even just having someone else who's like at your pace is really good, because I'm like, okay, if she's still going, then I'm still going.
Yes.
And she'll say like, well, I kept going because you were going. I'm like, well, that worked out because we were both doing the other person.
Nice.
So that I think is really good. And the general camaraderie of it's fun. It's fun to know people. And surprise, I'm an extrovert. But if you're an introvert too, like you can still, it's small setting. It's not like you're coming in and there's 100 people and you could come in and not say a word to anybody. You won't have to. But knowing that there are other, like a handful of other women around you who are going through the same thing and doing their best, whether you're talking to each other or not, it's just like, okay, I have my support if I need it. But
yeah, they're right there by your side. And also trying to achieve really similar goals and just bettering themselves in multiple ways. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I have one final question that I like to ask everyone. What does being a strong woman mean to you right now in this season of your life?
Being a strong woman in this season of my life means that I am allowed to make mistakes. Like at the gym, we said I'm strong and I lift, but like there are weeks where I might lift and then the next week I can't do it. And that's okay. And not letting that discourage you, and bigger than the gym, that I can make mistakes and that it doesn't have to like shame me as a person, that I can learn from them and move on. Also a strong woman at this phase of my life. My strength comes from the trust that God made me to be this way. My goofy sense of humor, or the ability to go and lift heavy weights because I've been working hard, not just like, innately, or messy motherhood of like, sometimes, I do a good job. And sometimes I'm like, hey, remember how I told you this 5 minutes ago? Oops.
I didn't mean it.
I didn't mean it. And a spouse and pastor, and just that like, God has equipped me to do all of this with strength that's sometimes, mine, because I've been hard and I've been working at it and training and reading books and like educating myself and, like all sorts of things. And sometimes when that feels empty, I know I have the tank of my faith community and my faith in God to like keep me going. And again, the mistake part, that it doesn't have to be 100% all the time. So like that, I think, is a lot of strength to me.
Wow.
And 10 push-ups. And I really want to learn how to do a handstand.
Okay.
Because we can't be serious for too long.
No, we can't. We don't. We take fitness seriously, but not ourselves seriously.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
And thank you for being on Real Women, Real Results podcast, Lauren. It was a pleasure having you. Thank you for being so open to answering these questions and sharing, about your experience just with us and in your community and what this community means to you. And just showing up for yourself. That's great.
Thank you so much.
And we're so happy to have you as a member. So
thank you.
Yes. Well, guys, I hope you like this episode. Again, I'm your host, Jamie Revell. This is Real Women, Real Results. And I hope to see you next time. Thanks for tuning in to Real Women, Real Results. If you loved this episode, be sure to follow the podcast and leave a review. It helps more women find these powerful stories. If you're local and want to join our gym, check out our 4-week trial. Head to train@w3body.com for more info. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, W3Body_𝙪 and W3Body_Elmhurst for more strength, support, and community. See you next time.